Good morning and welcome back to Daybreak. It's now time we speak to the Cabinet Secretary in charge of Labour and Social Protection, that is Simon Chelugui. Of course, later on we speak to Kenya Party Leader Martha Karua. But first, joining us this morning is the CS himself. Good morning, CS, and how are you keeping in these times of coronavirus disease?
Good morning, Sam. I'm staying safe and I'm keeping social distance, maintaining social distance, and also enhancing level of hygiene.
Okay, of course, it's very important for all of us. And obviously, even as you keep safe, of course, your work continues. We know of different measures that have been announced by the president. We heard that 8.5 billion shillings was released to go to the elderly and the most vulnerable in the community. First of all, how is that program going? Because we saw that you're going to distribute about 8,000 shillings to every person that has been registered under that platform.
Thank you, Sam. This program is one of the best social interventions by government, which began in 2004 with a pilot project number of 500 households. These were mostly, this number has grown up to now 1,233,000. And in last 1 week, we have been paying approximately 8,000 per beneficiary, which is 1,094,000. We recently migrated 1,094,000 Kenyans from the analog register. And that is why we were able to disperse or to send all these monies in a very, very short time. Because after the president announced this disbursement on Thursday, we worked day and night from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And on Sunday around 3 o'clock, all the 1,094,000 Kenyans got a notification via SMS, which informed them that you have received 8,000 Kenya shillings from the government of Kenya. Now, the impact of this fund is one, it's going to cushion them, particularly this time of coronavirus, where we have cessation of movement. These are people who are not earning. They depend on their relatives. But now government has come in to subsidize, to supplement their other incomes to support them. And in my view, this has gone a long way. You know, we have children in homes who have no parents, and these monies will go a long way in maybe securing the medicals and even supporting them in terms of livelihoods.
And obviously, CS, some of this money has been in arrears, bearing in mind that it's 2,000 every month. Is it deliberate that you haven't disbursed this money since January, or what are the challenges that now you've been able to surmount?
There have been a few challenges in terms of the registration, which again, as I've told you, we have been moving the members or the beneficiaries from manual register, which sometimes is very difficult because we must relate with the registrar of pensions, because all those beneficiaries should not be earning or benefiting from any other program. So they are, first and foremost, they are not pensioners. Two, there is an assessment that is done by the chiefs in partnership with Ngao, that's chiefs and assistant chiefs, the social workers, Ministry of Health, to identify and get the right people who deserve these payments. So the delays have been, one, on the register, two is also the budgetary delays occasioned by sometimes transfers from Treasury. But now we are kind of streamlined that, and I think even our banks, the partners that we have, we also agreed, and I want to thank them, because after we sat on Sunday, they were able to move very fast and ensure that all the beneficiaries, one, they supported them through provision of sanitizers, and also they were able to erect some tents, and they were also able to provide chairs so that we didn't have congestion, because you will know that some of these beneficiaries are older people, and they could be also suffering from underlying conditions. So I would want to thank the banks. So as I say, Delays have been there, but we are working towards a dynamic register where we register as immediately you qualify, and maybe for children who are identified, they are registered immediately, and we are working with Treasury so that in the next financial year, our payment will be smooth. But we also took an administrative action that we agreed with these beneficiaries that because of administrative cost of transferring these funds, it was found to be prudent to consolidate at least every 2 months. We put together the two payments and transfer as one. So, but if members want or the beneficiaries would prefer a monthly payment, then still we will work out and find a way of releasing this money monthly.
Okay, all right. Let's now talk about the stipend that was announced, weekly stipends for persons that are vulnerable when it comes to they may have lost their jobs because of the coronavirus, or they're affected by the situation you have in the country of cessation of movements as well as the curfew. Just clarify to us how much that is and how many people you have netted as yet, and the future of that program.
It's happening for the first time in this country, and we are working through a multi-agency team, again working with the Ministry of Interior and National Coordination because of the infrastructure, the network they have on the ground, the chiefs and assistant chiefs, and we are starting with the urban poor, that is maybe people living in informal settlements in first the lockdown counties of Nairobi, Mombasa, Kwale, and Kilifi. A team is working on this issue, and that we have also brought in the Council of Governors, and my PS Marwa sits on that committee. And so far, we have identified 108,000 households who deserves or would need to be supported through this program. You will remember that the President did announce and an additional 10 billion shillings one-off payment. And it's one-off because we are dealing with this matter on, we don't know how long this issue will last. And therefore, this 10 billion is the first intervention, and we'll review the situation as we go along. So far we have 108,000 households. And again, we have also about 138,000 beneficiaries who are in our manual register, and they have not been we have not been able to migrate them to the digital register because of lack of some documentation, or maybe change of mobile numbers, and because of that we've not been able to migrate them. We feel they also deserve this support, but we will want to use the multi-agency team to ensure that we don't pay people twice, or some people benefit from twice from this program and the normal program, which is funded through the budget.
And see, as you said that 108,000 have been identified, I wonder where they are in terms of distribution to different parts of the country. And number two, the weekly stipend, is it still at 1,500?
We have began with 1,000 per week, and this began as a pilot in Kibera, and we are targeting the informal settlement. We are talking of Mathare, we are talking of Kibera, we are talking of informal settlement areas in Mombasa, in Kwale, in Kilifi. And so far that is the number. From this pilot that we did last week, then we will also upscale this intervention nationally across the 47 counties. But we would want to begin first with the 4 counties which are now under lockdown, so that we are able to minimize the pain and the cushion.
Will that include Mandera, because now it has been Mandera has been reviewed to... Now
Mandera has come in, yes. Mandera has come in now. And, because now Mandera is also under lockdown, and that becomes one of our first counties to support, because you know, lockdown comes with a few challenges. Means movement of people in and out is restricted, and therefore government would need to also supplement in terms of livelihoods, in terms of food supplies, or rather cushioning them by cash transfer. Cash transfer is the most effective way of intervening. It's quicker, it's faster, it's decent, it ensures there is dignity among the beneficiaries, and they are able to also go about their business without a lot of exposure to the society.
All right, and CS, you said that there is 10 billion for one-off payment. Do you know the targeted population that will be receiving this in terms of how many households, and for how long do you think this can go ahead to sponsor them if the weekly stipend is to be 1,000 shillings?
As I say, it is happening for the first time in this country, this kind of intervention. And we started with a pilot. And as I told you, we have now around 108,000. From this pilot, we will be able to upscale. Currently, our teams, the multi-agency team, that's the government of the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, Ministry of National Government, and Ministry of Interior and National Government Coordination, Ministry of Health, are working on. They are now working on registration, and we have a kind of a assessment form that will be able to determine the potential beneficiaries. As we speak now, we don't know.
Right.
But in our register, as I told you, those we work with the current last year census register, together with what we have in our books, and we will be able to estimate. But as you are aware, the older persons that is between age 60 and above in Kenya from the last census are numbered to 2.7 million Kenyans. But not all of them would really need this kind of support. We have people who are earning, we have people who are working, we have people who are on pensions, and therefore they may not really need this kind of intervention.
Okay.
We have children, again, we have people who are working. We want to, this 10 billion is actually not only focusing on supporting the children, PWDs, and older persons. This could also mean there are people who are working and earning, but now, because of this pandemic, they are no longer able to provide food to their families, and they are kind of now remaining destitute. So this fund, we are also, the Ministry of Trade and Industrialization, we have another committee that is looking into this issue, that is economic and business, and possibly through this we can also have a slice of this 10 billion to support, towards supporting this group of people.
But just to clarify, as we exit from this topic, to clarify, you said that the pilot is on the urban poor. Will it eventually get to the rural poor, or how are they supposed to sustain themselves?
Yes. As I said, this is a pilot. We are just we began with the urban, now there are 5 lockdown counties. And from this pilot, we will upscale this program across the 47 counties. So we will still target the rural poor, particularly the ASAL areas, who again have different and unique kind of exposure in their life, in the way they are. One, the access and road networks to these areas affects supplies of food, the movement of people. So I can say we will use this pilot to now reach out to the rural poor.
Okay. All right. CS, let's talk about, because your ministry is big, you have labor issues as well as social protection. Let's focus on the labor sector. Of course, we are coming at a time, the cabinet secretary in charge of national treasury has told us that the government will lose revenue up to 172 billion shillings. The KRA is estimating over 230 billion shillings to be lost this year. And obviously the labor sector is suffering because there are several businesses that are not able to continue with business as usual. What measures are you coming up with to ensure that, yes, first of all, nobody loses their job, but also the industries or the companies do not collapse as they try to pay the employees in an unproductive environment?
Yeah, thank you very much, Sam. This labor sector has also been affected in a big way by this coronavirus. And we have tried to, again, minimize the pain across employers and employees through social dialogue. I want to thank the Federation of Kenya Employers, and I want to thank Central Organization of Trade Union for being patriotic Kenyans. And in normal circumstances, the Ministry of Labor would be looking for enforcement. They will be looking at issues to do with compliance, and to some extent also taking some employers to court who don't comply with labor laws. But in the current circumstances, we are in a very unique circumstances. This pandemic has affected both employer and employee. In the recently, about or around 2 months ago, since this pandemic was declared an international disaster, the Ministry of Labor, under my chairmanship and my team, we have had about 5 engagements with these social partners. And we have come up with a number of resolutions which would actually guide on a relationship between employees and employers. One of them would be asking employees to proceed on normal leave. That is about 30 days. And then if the situation doesn't change, or there is no improvement, or management of this pandemic is not controlled within those 30 days, then we have asked employers to kindly extend by another 15 days. And if that is not enough, then we will be then asking employers to consider half pay, workers to take half pay, and possibly after 45 days, then we might have to ask workers to proceed on unpaid leave, or to stay home, or stay home on unpaid leave. At no time have we suggested that employers will declare redundancies or terminate employment, notwithstanding the existing contractual agreements between employees and employers. I also want to say that while we care for the employees in terms of welfare and ensuring that there is social order through earnings and stability at household level, we also need to care about employers, because labor, yes, is a factor of production. But once production is stopped, then employer has lost ability to sustain employment.
Right.
And we cannot really force him or compel him to pay salaries in an unproductive environment.
And CS, allow me to
mediate. We are trying to arbitrate and take a center level for both employers and employees.
All right, CS, we need to wind up on this, but as we do so, we have seen a memo going to public servants telling them that they need to volunteer to take a pay cut. First of all, is this mandatory? If they choose that they don't want to take a pay cut now, will there be any action against them? And whatever money you collect there, what is the target, and what do you plan to do with this money?
Thank you very much. As you've said, it's voluntary, meaning it's individual. It's a decision by individual public servant or employee. So the whole basis, you've seen the president, deputy president, the ministers, CSS, PSS have taken or have already signed for a pay cut. And we are encouraging everyone, not just the public servants or lower cadre, to also participate in this voluntary contribution. But we are also encouraging people like ZAM and everyone else in this country who feel, for those who have lost jobs or those who may suffer more, that we are there for them. We are brothers keepers, we are sisters keepers. So we want to stand with the rest of the Kenyans who could suffer more. And therefore, these monies will be utilized. You remember the president established a fundraising committee, and these funds will now be utilized towards the general upkeep of first the most affected, and maybe post-corona, where we know we must come back and restart, re-engineer, and we have a life after Corona.
Okay.
And we need to prepare ourselves. We already in Cabinet have a subcommittee working on post-Corona, which I believe some of the resources that we are mobilizing right now will be used towards revamping and restarting our country again.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Cabinet Secretary. I wish we had more time to discuss those matters affecting the labor sector, including whether what if the government reaches a point it's not able to get sufficient revenue? Are they going to continue paying the public servants? But all the same, we'll have some more time to engage on that. Of course, that has been the Cabinet Secretary, Simon Chelugui. We now we'll be speaking, after the break, we'll be speaking to former presidential candidate and also the Kenya party leader by the name Martha Karua. She's there. You can see her on the screen. She'll be joining us to talk about state of the nation on what we've been seeing with the fight against the coronavirus. So stay tuned with that.